Hey groupers, Pastor Marshall here. Continue to walk through Core52, and this is probably the most famous story that Jesus ever told, the parable of the Good Samaritan. This story starts with Jesus being set up by a teacher of the law. I wonder if you think that you have ever been set up. Have you ever been asked a difficult question about God or about Christianity in public that you thought was a test? It happens to me all the time as a pastor. I wonder what it's like for you as a parishioner. Can you share the story? Can you give an example of what it looks like, or what it would look like, to love God with all of your, and answer them one at a time. Jesus says heart, soul, mind, and strength, or resources, Mark Moore says, for strength. What does it look like to love God with all of your, and then answer them one at a time, heart, soul, mind, strength? Brainstorm together some of the spiritual dangers of loving God with only one or two parts of our person. For example, what spiritual problems could you encounter if you loved God with your heart but not with your mind? What if you loved Him with your resources but not with your soul, etc.? Mix it up. What would be the dangers, the spiritual dangers of picking and choosing how you loved God? And then we talked about James 2:17 in my message on Sunday. The Bible says that our faith and our actions have to be wed. They have to happen together. So why is action married to love or faith? What dangers will happen if there's faith without actions? What dangers will happen if there are actions without faith? And then thinking of the story, and the priest and the Levite walk by on the other side of the road, is there any genuine reasons that the priest or the Levite couldn't have at least checked on the man? Is there any good, valid reason that they couldn't have at least checked on the man? Assuming that one possible reason is fear. This is something that I think prevents us from helping strangers most of the time. Assuming that one possible reason is fear, can you give practical examples of the interplay of the relationship between fear and obedience and love and service, and use the context of one of your relationships, the relationship between love and fear and faith and service and obedience, and think about the relationship between the husband and wife, think about the relationship between the parent and child, think about the relationship of the boss and the employee. Try to give it some context. Well, the Samaritan comes along, and when Jesus mentions the Samaritan, I told you that I imagined that his audience hissed and jeered. Are there any equivalents in our American society to Samaritans in Jesus' society? If there are, who are they? And then, last but not least, as a group, do a little strategy session. And can you think of one corporate act of kindness that you could do in your community? What is something that we could do in our community? And of course, that is the application this week. You're being challenged to do some kind of random act of kindness, and then we want to make a collage. So I'm hoping, I don't want you to videotape the random act of kindness, but I want you then to just videotape the story. Tell me the story. Send it to me so that we can share them with the congregation. Well, I hope that you have a great Bible study, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.